Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take the Ravaged garden tour. I'll show you everything that I've gone through, how the summer's been, and show you that you don't have anything different than I do. Let's start the tour, and this will maybe the last you see of me here in the video. So let's start through the tour, and we'll start with our patio first. We're going to start with our patio. This is typically where we have our succulents. And you'll see we've kind of got them all in the center of the patio right now. By the blotches here you see on the house, we're getting ready to paint the house. So everything's kind of been pulled off. We got these nice guys here that we haven't pulled back yet. We'll get these off the house so that we can start doing our painting. And you'll see here we have nice shelving that we put our plants on. They're not looking very good. We've had heat issues and I've had some fertilizer issues. And we're going to get into the fertilizer a little bit more as we keep going through the tour. Because as you'll see, things have looked a little better. But you can see our shamrock here. Our purple one here really took on some fertilizer damage. But a lot of these is all about the heat. Our fire stick here has done quite well. It's over 10 years old. But we kind of have the center of the patio garden here. And off to the side here, we've got our little greenhouse. This is typically where I'll put some seedlings in the early spring or in the fall. And some plants that really have to be protected in our zone because we're zone 8B, so we can get down to 15 degrees. And we're going to talk about our potatoes here, an update on that. This is our potatoes we're growing in a box. And unfortunately, I gave a try on some organic fertilizer. I'm not going to give the name because it may work just fine for you, but it did not work for me. When I use a slow release fertilizer, I typically will use 10 to 25% of what they say for you to use. I use it very sparingly. I did it with this. Unfortunately, it's causing some dieback in the potatoes. Now, the interesting part about this is I suspect dug up one of the little potatoes in here. So there is a whole bunch of potatoes, and they're most likely going to put up some new shoots and try another crop of potatoes here. So these are going to run late. They're going to finish late, and we're going to battle on when we get our first frost. That'll kill them back. So this will be an interesting experiment. Stay tuned. And we've been doing a lot of cleanup and plant move around. This is our kind of remote blueberry plant that's going to get relocated. We've got a couple blueberry plants here that did not make it through the heat wave, and we're going to say goodbye to them. Another one here that didn't make the heat wave, and we'll say goodbye to that one as well. We just haven't relocated this blueberry plant yet. It made it through our heat waves this summer quite well. Took on a little bit of damage from that fertilizer, which was disappointing, but we're going to move on. We're going to have a video coming up. I'm going to show you how to prune these back. We're going to prune them back really hard, get them recovered and growing the way we want. And we'll probably lose next year's crop, but these are things you've got to do. Yeah, we're going to spin around here, and this is one of our blackberry plants. It's a miniature. This is about as big as it gets every year. It'll put some blackberries on. As you can see here, we've got some blackberries that have formed on it. We're going to see if they take. Usually the heat kills off anything that tries to grow in the fall. So we'll watch what happens with them. This here is our backside of our little citrus section here. The citrus I just really heavily pruned back when I moved it to here. They were up against the house, but with the painting they had to get relocated. So now they're in this nice area here. And we'll come along the back fence here and you can see the citrus. And what we got here is we've got 2 blueberry bushes here. We put this shed in about a month ago. I got it finished up and installed. And on the east side of the shed here, we've got our blueberry bushes. And we've got a smaller blueberry bush down here. It needs to be transplanted. And this is our wonderful little raspberry. And it tries. We're most likely going to have to get rid of it. It doesn't do well in this area. But we're going to try it on the east side here and see how it does. This, of course, is the front side of our shed. Nothing on the back fence. Our grapes are going to be relocated here. And you can see here's our blueberry plants here that I've been moving over to the west fence. And they need some heavy pruning as well. I'll show you up the side here and you can see all our grapevine jungle. We've got a video coming up here on some fall pruning of the grape jungle here, and we'll cover that for you and what we do with that. Now we start getting into our, well, what was cantaloupe and beans that we harvested earlier in the summer. We never replanted in front of the cantaloupe. But we ended up, unfortunately, getting a new guest. And after 16 years, we have our first gopher. So we've been working on trying to remove the thing because it's been coming through here and just taking out our cucumbers that we had here. We did have down in the bed in front here beets. They did extremely well. So far here you can tell that the gopher hasn't completely eaten this cucumber vines yet, but it's only a matter of time. So hopefully we get to him first. And we're going to step across here, and we had our zucchini plant, which used to be in this ring right here in the ground. We either had a pest, a borer that got into the zucchini, or the gopher ate the roots. Haven't decided yet. This is one of our mini tomato plants. This one was, of course, really heavily ravaged with the heat wave. You can see signs that it's recovering. We'll probably let it go until we decide we want to plant something in here for the fall. We usually let tomato plants go until the frost does them in. Our watermelon plants here this year didn't do well at all. We've gotten one watermelon about the size of a tennis ball. It was actually sweet. It was actually pretty good. There's another one you can see down in here, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. Our summer squash here, it failed. Who knows? Gopher could have been in there. We're not quite sure. And as you can tell, we need to do some fall maintenance and clean up. Eventually, this bed you're seeing here is actually going to get fruit trees in it. And then we come around here, and in this 2x2x2 planter, we have a hardy cherry tomato. It's done reasonable with the heat wave, and you can see it's really coming back. This thing will keep producing all the way to the frost. It's always been a great performer for us. So we'll let it keep going until it's done for the year. Come back to the side here, and this is our pepper plants. You can see mainly we have gypsy and various bell peppers here. And you can see how the heat wave has really caused issues. I think the gopher's in them a little bit. In this last heat wave, what we ended up doing is we ended up coming through, harvested most of the peppers on all the plants. Peppers are interesting plants because what they end up doing is when there's no peppers on them for a couple of weeks, they start putting on a lot of growth. So they either grow peppers or they really put on growth like you see on this pepper here. This is just a standard red bell pepper. It's got wonderful amounts of flowers on top. We'll probably get some green off of it before the frost comes, but I seriously doubt we'll get any reds from it. But it'll start setting some new peppers here soon too. You can see I'm showing you various peppers along the way here. And these, I believe, are yellow bells. They've been recovering from the heat wave. You can see all the new growth in them. You know, we would come and maybe prune them back, but we really can't. For us, peppers, at least through most of the summer, this one that I showed you earlier, there's no sunburn on it yet, but our peppers here sunburn really, really easy. I never get out to put shade on them. You can see on this pepper here, there's a little bit of lightning from the sun. You know, they're recovering. We'll see how they do. If we decide that we want to put something in for the fall into these beds, they'll just get pulled and we'll just harvest the rest of the peppers. We've had a wonderful harvest this year in peppers. We have quite a few stuffed peppers, frozen, and we still got quite a few peppers in the fridge. Wouldn't you believe it, right now, I hear my gopher. We'll get back to him later. Now we're going to spin over here just a little bit. There used to be plants here. They didn't do too well with the heat wave. So we just, you know, we'll get it cleaned out and we'll find something new to put in. This here is just a little small sage. It'll get twice the size. It was cut back earlier, about a month ago. The little purple flowers, the hummingbirds absolutely love it. Here's another one of our blackberry. And it's another miniature. It doesn't get very big. It'll probably maybe get about 4 feet total. There'll be a video coming up soon and we'll cover how to get that all pruned and cleaned up here. This is our wonderful basil we need to harvest. Currently it's kind of going to flower. It's kind of nice. It really pulls in the bees this time of year to finish up the summer garden. We'll get maintenance done on it soon. This is our 4 o'clocks. We put them in one year. They're a tuber type plant. So they keep coming back every year and dropping new seeds and crossing. So we've never bothered to remove them. We've got to replace our garden beds, so they're going to come up eventually. We'll start a whole new area of them. Oh, now you start seeing our tomato plant damage. We've already pulled one tomato plant that was here. You can see here, really heavily weathered from the heat. You know, we're trying to keep as much shade as we possibly can. This one, there isn't really anything left on it. Paltry tomatoes that are left. But we'll get the rest of the harvest. We'll probably go find something new to plant. Here's more of a view of our grapes and what we got to clean up. This particular variety, as you see here, we still got just one last little few bunches that are buried in here. Now let's see what we got going. Now, particular grapes got a little while longer to go. And you can see that the grapes come up through here. This one particular grapevine ran into some issues. It's young. It had a hard time with the heat. The gopher may be up this way as well, so we'll have to keep an eye on it. This is our major tomato bed here. This cherry tomato is a trooper. It's coming back. It's got dark leaves, and yes, it goes up. So, you know, we'll let it keep going. We're harvesting off of it. We'll tear it out when we're ready. I don't worry about it. We're going to get some new things planted here soon, but you can see how they're coming encroaching this one. As we say, you know, heat damage, heat damage, heat damage, heat damage. You know, that and watering. There's disease as well. You know, this plant's not making it. We're just letting the last of the tomatoes finish off. And, you know, you can see, you know, we've gotten a lot of use out of our garden bed. These things are 16 years old and they were only pine. Had some other stuff to work on, and we've got to get our house painted. So this project here just isn't important. And you can see on the back side of these tomato plants here, in amongst the weeds, they're starting to come back. You know, and I don't mind letting them go through this because it helps me learn even after gardening for 20 years. It lets me learn things about the plants. You know, each year has something different. And we can give you a complete kind of pan of the yard here, starting here. And you can see all the way across the garden. Our major part. And we're working on, as we're going into another area, just say this is where we're going to be building out the garden more. There's going to be fruit trees. May put a greenhouse over that way. That's going to eventually turn into our outdoor kitchen. So, you know, you get the stuff as you get the stuff in the garden, and, you know, you don't worry about it. So many YouTubers out there are worried about showing you this mess. You know, I'm not. It's, you know, we've all got the same type of garden. We're trying to put our best foot forward, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do. And the one last spot in the tour is the part, you know, nobody wants to show you. But this is kind of my garden storage area here. And I keep pots here and soil and all that type of stuff. And, you know, bicycles are this way, and garbage, you know, the shells here that are going to get recycled, and, you know, our trash cans and all of that. But we keep the garden stuff along the side here. These are being prepped and getting ready to do another round of potatoes. I'm going to risk it. We're going to see. I may have to carry them in, but we'll give it a try. And we'll just give you another view from a different angle here. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining the tour, and, you know, hit that like button, click the subscribe button. If you enjoy the content, you know, please leave a comment. And if you don't want to subscribe or ring the bell. So keep tuned in and stay tuned for my next video.